pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ginny, would you please take the roll? Austriaco?
Here.
Gessler? Collins?
Here.
Coyle?
Here.
Lee?
Here.
Sullivan? Owen?
Here.
Do we have any public comments? Okay. We're going to begin with some exciting fun things. Update from the superintendent.
Okay, we've got a few folks here to introduce tonight. First person I'm going to introduce, we actually officially hired a little over a week ago, and he's here with us tonight, and that is the person that is going to have the tall order replacing Dave Berry. Brett Clark is with us, so Brett, welcome. And Brett comes with a ton of experience. When we started to do a search, knowing that Dave was going to retire this year, reached out to some trusted people across the state who know a lot about communications, business, and in particular in schools. And Brett's name was one of the first that I got, and he has proven himself against a very strong field. Brett is not only a national leader, he's a state and national leader, so it's really nice to have someone come in here and take off of the work that Dave Berry has started for us. We have a lot of exciting things going on moving forward, so hopefully some building projects and just general communication with the public about the good work that's going on with District 207. So Brett, welcome to District 207. And then secondly, tonight, knowing once we knew Dr. Haugen's plans to retire, I reached out to two of the best minds that I knew of, who are both experienced principals and even better experience working with us here in District 207. Tonight, I've got our proposed interim principal candidates pending board action, obviously, later this evening. First of all, Maria Ward, in there. Maria is actually one of our original assessment literacy trainers. And if you ask, how did we get where we are in terms of being able to join in the competency pilot in Illinois, the foundation of that is really evolved assessment literacy practice, and that's how we met Maria. And Maria was kind enough to introduce us to Jim Harris, who we hired then. Maria was a principal at Glenbard East and also down at Gulf North, two suburban high schools. Was an incredibly successful principal there and has been gracious enough to accept an invitation to hopefully join us here in District 207 as one of the interim principals here at Nicholas High School. And our other candidate, Marina Scott. It's Maria and Marina, so I'm going to times this year. Marina Scott also has a long relationship with District 207 in a variety of ways. She worked many years in District 211, just down the road from us. She was at one time the principal at Front High School, and then most recently was a principal at Libertyville High School. So again, suburban high schools, so the scope and size of our high schools. Marina also just finished the year mentoring Ben Collins at South for us. And if you look at sort of the model of a successful first-year principal, I'd be hard-pressed to think of a better model that Ben was able to exhibit this year. And I know that throughout the year, Ben talked frequently with me about just the really key insights of direction and feedback that Marina was able to give him as a first-year principal. And so we are incredibly blessed to be able to bring in people of this caliber to help us run Maine West this year while we search for a permanent replacement. One of the challenges that I put to both of these talented women was that we don't hug the ground here. We keep moving forward. And I think it sort of inspired both of them a little bit because they were, I think Marina said, well, I wouldn't have it any other way. So our expectation, we are a district that is progressive and progressing, and we will continue to do that in Maine West this year. So please join me in welcoming Marina Scott.
very quickly from the MOU, our International Student Visit. That will be coming to our visit in July 20th to Sunday. So we are very excited about it. And I just want to personally thank all of the principals and the superintendent and everyone
And of course, Ginny, who's
Ginny.
done a
Now,
lot
of
of
course,
work.
let's thank the person that's really done the work, Jimmy.
I am going to personally thank her, but we appreciate and then from Korea schools, the students are so very much excited about visiting Chicago. So very looking forward to meeting with them and sharing the wonderful life of American cultural experience as well. So you guys are welcome to be invited to Friday, July 20th, Friday, 6 p.m. at the main East High School for a great, the best pizza ever.
South, yeah. Yeah, but they may have pizza if you go east anyway.
Never know what you're gonna find.
Yeah.
All right, any other updates? Okay, so we're gonna move on to the Finance Committee update in Sean's absence. Linda has graciously agreed to give the report.
Sure. Okay, so the committee met on June 18th of 2018. I was present along with Jin Lee and Sean Sutherland. The meeting was called to order at 5:30 p.m. Special education bus bid was discussed. Our contract with Septran ended. It was a 3-year contract, and they were unable to agree to a contract extension because they needed to increase their wages because there's a shortage of bus drivers. We opened up bids on June 11th, and we only got one bid, and that was also from Septran. And their bid included an increase in cost of 28% for regular routes and 14% for wheelchair routes. The state reimburses approximately 80% of those costs. And the bid was reviewed by legal counsel. The district recommends awarding this 3-year contract to Septran. We also discussed the Prevailing Wage Act, and the Board of Ed annually approves and adopts the prevailing rate of wages to comply with Chapter 48 of the Illinois Revised Statutes. A certified copy will be filed with the Secretary of State, as well as a link to that information on the district website. And then there was no other business, and the committee was adjourned at 5:37.
Thank you. Okay, well, Buildings and Grounds Committee update, Carrie?
Yes, we met on June 18th as well, and members Bessler and Lee and myself were present, and the meeting was called to order at 5:45 p.m. Dave Ulm, the Director of Building and Grounds, gave an update of current projects and each of the schools. And all schools will have parking lot paving done, cafeteria renovations, and roof section replacements. Then at the individual schools, projects at Main East include tennis court renovation, HVAC work, and replacement of the public address system. Main South is replacing the tennis courts, the fire alarm system, and the pool filter, as well as conducting HVAC upgrades in the network center. Main West is renovating the bus concourse canopy, and upgrades are being done to the D-wing bathrooms. And additionally, the roof siding and gutters are being replaced at the homestead. And all projects are underway and expected to be completed this summer. The next project that we talked about was the chilled water piping project. The 30-year-old center court chiller failed at Main East. So 10 vendors attended the pre-bid meeting and 8 bids were received. Independent Mechanical Industries was the low bidder for phase 1. Phase 1 will be completed this summer and involves the repiping of the system to areas served by the center court chiller to have cooling for the start of the 2018-19 school year. The bid scope was reviewed and the district recommends awarding the contract to Independent Mechanical Industries in the amount of $229,985. Phase 2 will be conducted in the summer of 2019. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned at 5:59 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Next up on the agenda is monthly status of finances. Mary?
In your board packet is the May financial statement. On the revenue side, you can see through May, and because of property tax collections, complete in terms of revenue. On the expenditure side, we're only about 80% complete, and that's because in June, we run the summer payrolls for our 10-month staff, so we'll have an additional 5 payrolls in the month of June, which will bring that in line with any closer to 100%. Also on the expenditure side, don't forget that we're gonna see about $1 million savings from our premium holiday because our medical insurance program has done better than expected. On the individual funds, you can see very little variance and similar revenue and expenditure results as compared to the prior years. Our fund balances look good. I'll entertain any questions that anybody has on the financial statement.
Questions?
I just want to make one statement about the insurance performance that Mary just alluded to, and with Julia here, I'm going to say what I said more publicly, but I think it's a really good example of administrative MTA partnership that really works off of an insurance committee. That committee has worked together over the years, not just in one year, but over time, to really be responsive and responsible to both our staff, but also to the taxpayers. So I think the performance, it doesn't happen alone. So the board also serves on that. Absolutely. And it's just an example of a really, really good partnership. And it's helped us, I think, perform really remarkably in a time when not everybody is experiencing the same type of performance.
Okay. Next up, instructional services, Sean. Next up, policies and procedures. It's also you, Sean. We have a first reading.
Yeah, so the first reading of our Series 6 instruction. This is our conversion of the old 5000 series to the new press recommendations for policy. There is an executive summary in your book, and then there's also a link to the document in your electronic version of the book, just the sheer number of pages, to save a few trees. And I'll entertain any questions you might have on that.
This is the one that we spent quite a bit of time on, education.
Education committee spent probably about 3 or 4 meetings reviewing these, making suggesting recommendations, and reviewing what we currently have against what the recommendations are present.
And this is just a first reading, so board members have an opportunity to look it over and ask questions. The summary is really nice. No questions now? We'll move on. Monthly update on FOIA requests. Ken?
16 this month, they have, most of it been processed with a few % process.
Okay. Could I have a motion on the consent agenda, items 7A through E?
Second.
Ginny, would you take the roll?
Austriaco?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Coyle?
Aye.
Lee? Owen?
Aye. Item 8, could I have a motion on item 8, approval of the tentative budget?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Gary?
So before you tonight for approval is the tentative budget. The process for starting the tentative budget began last November with the adoption of 2017 levy, continued into December when the board was presented with the budget parameters, and then each month has an activity. As you look at the summary, you can see that the tentative budget, when you exclude the $1.6 million timing difference because bonds were sold in 1 year and we're expending the last of the funds this year, has a $5.3 million deficit. That deficit is primarily caused by our capital repairs. We're projected to fund $7.5 million in capital project repairs for the summer, which many of those were discussed with the Buildings and Grounds Committee, as well as we've doubled the amount that we're budgeting for property tax refunds. Our property tax refunds have doubled from about $1 million to about $2 million. So that's going to be about 2% of our annual budget. Not a trend that we'd like to see.
What do you think it's a trend based on?
I think it's a trend based on the number of PTAP appeals that we're seeing and the settlements that we're going to do. And really on the expenditure side, there is, except for capital projects, nothing really out of the ordinary. We were able to keep salaries within CPI. As we talked about earlier, our medical insurance is doing well. Both of these are trending in a positive area. About the only area on the expenditure side that grew was the required contribution to the teacher's health insurance system fund, which has been increasing by about 5% every year. This is an amount set by TRS, and it's a required contribution that the districts make on all TRS salaries. So what happens, we'll go over a little bit of the budget timeline. So in the month of July, the Finance Committee digs deep into the tentative budget at the committee hearing. In August, we have a public hearing on the tentative budget, which then allows the community a chance to provide input into the budget. The budget is on display at the buildings, in the libraries, and that's also available on our website. So then after the public hearing in September, the district would adopt the final budget. There are changes that will be made primarily in terms of grant funding and finalizing some salary figures, because right now you can see we're still hiring. So those to be determined salaries will go into actual salaries. And then we will file the budget with the state by the end of September.
I have a quick question. From the comment about the evidence-based funding formula, so under that formula, was special ed ever included in that?
Portions of special ed were and portions of special ed weren't. So special ed transportation is outside of it, special ed personnel is inside of it.
So they're paying those funds on time?
They're paying those funds on time, but
Okay,
they
but the
still
rest
always
of
pay the
them-
categoricals late. But we've seen our final, so, that's why you'll notice when I talked about the budget update this year, our state revenue had a $1 million over budget because they're paying the evidence on time, they're catching up on the categoricals from previous years, but they're continuing to pay the transportation, the special ed, private funding, still fairly late. So because the evidence-based funding model replaced general state aid, that in terms of the comptroller's office has the highest priority after legal obligations, meaning debt payments or contracts that they're required by a court order to pay.
So does that mean that our, those payments that aren't being made, or that are being made late, do we expect that to just constantly accrue and wind up as
It's
a
been
big
that way
deficit,
for
or-
the past decade or so, so I would say that until the state has a positive cash
Wait,
flow.
it's been that way,
Yeah,
but I
they've
thought
been
it was part,
paying late
but
for-
the evidence-based funding was just adopted.
Yes, but the categorical payments, they've been behind in payments and paying late for years.
And probably still will.
And probably still will, because they do not have the same priority as previous general state aid, now the evidence-based funding formula.
And when we spend that money, does that mean that, we still allocate money, the appropriate money for special education, even though the money doesn't come?
Absolutely.
Right.
Our,
I mean, I just wanted to-
the
I'm saying
special
that-
ed funding, I think we did an analysis that said that we spent somewhere close to, we get between all sources about $6 million between the tax levy, between the state payments for special ed, and we spend well over about $30 million, $40 million on special ed. When we actually do the tax levy, we adopt a certification that identifies the revenues that we have versus the expenditures. And that's been the same forever as well.
And that, I'm saying that because I think it's important that people realize that even though state funding may be low, Maine Township funding is still
We still
100%,
We
we're
are
committed
committed.
to it, and that's important. Okay, thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Hello, Mary, I have one quick question. On the tax appeal, I know at previous meetings you said you were monitoring some that are still in court at this point, and status in that.
So
Corporations.
it's been nothing but bad news. So I think there are a number that we've gone out to get appraisals on. There's a disturbing trend between like nursing homes filing astronomical appeals, 30–40% of their values. There have been a number where a sales contract has supported the evidence provided by the taxpayer, so we know that on those, we will lose those appeals, because an arm's length transaction is the best evidence in terms of the value of a property. So, I would say that in the past month, we've probably settled, PCAP cases that probably $300,000 to $400,000 in refunds, which we've never seen that kind of volume. And we try and settle 3 years at a time to take us to the next triennial assessment, so that we have, so that, you know, on both sides, we're not having to get appraisals every single year, because there are several $1,000s for an appraisal.
And also you can budget for that, then you know, that's what it is. Whether you win or lose, you know this is what it is for the next 3 years.
Correct.
Right? And then why, with the nursing homes, is it, do you think it's like a law firm that is, you know, grabbed
It's a law
onto?
firm that's grabbed on. I think it's the same kind of analysis that we're doing, and presenting that the value of the businesses, income declining, so that they have approach that we've never seen before in terms of how they find their value. But it's
a winning argument.
Yeah. Well, right now, we're in the process of fighting the appeals, because, you know, we know if this is successful with one, we're gonna have
There have to be
4
other,
more.
this is happening with other districts.
Yes.
Alright, so, there's no other discussion, please take the vote.
Lee. Coyle. Collins. Austriaco. Owen.
Aye. I have a motion on item 9, this is the annual agreement, Maine High School Hockey Association. Thank you. We do this every year, Ken. It's the
It's
same
every year.
agreement that we had.
It's the same agreement.
Okay. We still get the kids to sign waivers and everything?
Yes, all of it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and it's for any hockey player in the district, so it's not defined to just one school.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. Jenny, would you take the roll?
Collins.
Aye.
Lee. Austriaco. Coyle. And Owen.
Aye. I have a motion on item 10.
So,
Thank you. Thank you. This is the special education bus services which we discussed.
I have a quick question. I know we did, but just for the cost, $5 million for a annual service for services. How many hours did we just get this year? Are we all about same amount?
no, as indicated, on the regular routes, the increase is about 28%, and on the wheelchair routes, it's about 48%. We had a provision in our previous contract that allowed us to extend FCCI, and that was an option that Centra could not obtain because of the wage increases that they had to incur for their drivers, given the bus driver shortage. Also indicated was we saw there was a number of companies had told us, but one actually submitted a no-bid letter indicating that the reason that they're not interested in bidding was the driver shortage, and that they're just trying to serve their existing clients to understand.
I know, as you're fully aware, and some of the meeting it is, but because it's, I guess there is very concerned, like the hiring of clients and so on. I was wondering, have regardless of the bus drivers shortage, which we are aware of, how have we ever maybe given outreach to other local school districts using like similar services or programs? They probably, I don't know if they're using like the same bus companies or they might be using different companies, and possibly have we ever outreach to the other bus companies to try to get some proper price quotation?
Didn't we put this out?
We put this out for a public bid because I knew there was a bus driver shortage. When I went to the IASCO conference, I hit every bus booth that was there, let them know that our bid was on the street, that we were interested in seeking competitive bids, and quite frankly, all of them were like, It's not, it's not gonna happen.
That's even better than talking to the district, you're going right to the bus.
We're going right to the bus
There's no
company.
margins to be gained here.
Yeah.
Trust me, if we could find other bidders, Mary would have gotten them. And it is a function of simple economics, it's supply and demand. There is a shortage of bus drivers, and when that happens, when there's low unemployment, this is one of the residual effects of it. So, and we are required by law to transport these students. We don't, this is not optional.
You know, one of the things
So,
you,
we would love to have more competition for this business.
one of the things you probably didn't notice is there's a new line called the cost of a double route, and it's the identical cost as a round trip route. And what we've been doing is finding a way to run the regular ed buses and the transition or cross buses on what's called a double route, meaning they do one route, they come back and they do the second route. And Septran charges us the same price for that versus having a single route where they do that. And it's beneficial for Septran because they do not have the drivers to provide 11 additional bus routes. And it's beneficial to the school district because we're getting that second route at no additional cost.
I want to throw in a personal thing here because I can vouch for this, because my retired husband just took a job as a school bus driver. He's been approached by 3 companies to try and lure him away. I mean, that's unheard of for a school bus driver. I mean, it's a crazy thing, but he said, and he also gets all these benefits if you refer people.
Yeah.
So it's
Referral
incredible.
bonuses, signing bonuses.
Yeah, exactly. Signing bonuses for a school bus driver, I was shocked.
So we're a little, I mean, we don't like it either, we don't like the increases, but it's the economics right now, the situation. I know that we've aggressively gone out and tried to, there's only a certain number of players in the market to begin with, and they tend to be large vendors. So be it, you know.
Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, Jenny, could you take the roll?
Austriaco. Aye. Collins.
Aye.
Lee. Coyle.
Aye.
Owen.
Aye. That motion on item 11, this is the prevailing rate of wages.
So moved.
Okay. Mary, we discussed
Every
this.
year, we are required to adopt a resolution indicating that the district will comply with the prevailing wage. Illinois is what I call a $0 public improvement state, which means that any $1 spent on a public improvement or repair requires the contractor to pay prevailing wage. The district gets certified payrolls to ensure that. What happens next is we publish this information on the website with a link to the prevailing wages, and we also file a copy of the resolution with the Secretary of State to show that we're in compliance.
Any questions? All right. Jenny, would you take the roll?
Coyle. Aye. Wrestler. I'm sorry. Coyle. Lee. Collins.
Aye.
Austriaco. Owen.
Aye. That motion on item 12, this is the National Night Out waiver fees for the Des Plaines Police Department.
Second.
Thank you. This one is pretty self-explanatory. It's a $260 fee that's being waived. We do this every year too. Is that right? Okay. Any questions or comments? All right. Jenny, would you take the roll?
Lee. Collins.
Aye.
Coyle. Aye. Austriaco. Owen.
Aye. On item 13, these are calendar items. The education, finance, buildings, and grounds meetings are all going to be moved a little bit, but it's not finalized yet. So Ginny will be reaching out to members of those committees. Those will get set up. You planning that in July or?
Is education going to stay the same?
No, that's not.
So education, we're looking at July 23rd.
Okay, but we have a couple people not here, so we
And
have
we're looking at the week of the 30th for finance. and business and finance. Let me know your availability, no.
Okay.
Talk after.
Okay. I know August is a busy time. If board members are planning vacation or think they might not be at the meeting in August, please let us know as soon as possible. Back to school for teachers is August 9th. First day of school for students, already August 13th. Okay,
So this is the first year, kind of like
What's that?
the already
no,
started.
it's been a couple of years now. This seems early.
Actually, it's been,
It
it's
is
been 3 or
earlier.
4 years.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, it's just falling that way, I think.
No, this
Yeah.
is about what it's been, yeah.
Okay, are there any other communications or public comments? Any other informational items? Okay, could I have a motion to go into closed session for purposes of review of closed session minutes and employment, compensation, performance, or dismissal of specific employees? Thank you. Second? Okay. Jane, would you take a roll?
Austriaco?
Aye.
Collins?
Aye.
Coyle? Lee? Owen?
Aye. Okay, we will go into closed session.